Oh, that's so stupid, but I don't know why. It makes me laugh every single time. Welcome to episode 328 of the Hooniverse podcast. I am your host, Jeff Guy. Ron, what's going on?
What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's it going this fine evening?
Good. Are you crashing? Are you hungover from weeks of vacation in Hawaii?
I'm okay.
A rough adjustment to.
No, I took a few days off to just, say take a few days off. What I mean by that is I took a few days off. Hold on one second. Why does that? I was just curious because it says 4 people, but
I got you and one other.
Yeah.
I do see 4 up there though. What's that
I
about?
think it's because I invited you for the first one because we're reusing the studio space to do a new recording, and so it treats it as a new recording. I'm not going to worry about it. Whatever. Maybe it's our FBI agents watching with us.
The Russians finally come to get us.
Yep. No, I'm good. I'm I've been working and doing all that shit, and you can't just take that much vacation time and unless you're some baller ass rich son of a bitch, which I am not. Back to work. Having a beverage this evening?
I am. Old Standby, Bullet Bourbon.
Nice,
Got
nice.
a really tall glass this time so that I can hopefully avoid a refill halfway through.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm just keeping it simple with some wine with my Golden Girls wine glass.
Is that what that is? Oh, I love it. What does it say? Or is it just everybody's face?
Have I given you any indication at all that I care?
Perfect.
Yeah, but the letters are like falling off. Golden Girls wine glass. There you go. All right, so I'm trying to get this back into some of the format we started with when we started doing this, where created a little bit more of a template so we have more to talk about than just our cars. So, of course, we will get into our cars as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick it off like we have in the past. First, I'm going to shut my door. I'm going to leave it open because my wife's at dinner with coworkers and my daughter's supposed to be going to bed. And in case my dog wanted to walk in, she can walk in. But that's fine. All right, kicking it off.
Just Pro now, or do you still have one of the rescues? I saw one guy.
Oh, no, gone. Everybody's adopted.
Both of them? Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, we were this close to keeping the other one, but she is gone. Yes.
All right.
Which is fine. It's fine. She was very cute.
I'm not happy that she's out of your household, but I'm happy that she found a forever home.
Exactly. No, it's great that, we were close. But puppies are tough, man. Puppies are tough. So
I'm well aware.
All right, we're kicking it off with Bring a Trailer Goodness since we haven't done that in a while. We've got a good one and one that I think is fucking crazy. The good one, 1996 Ford Mustang Cobra. $18,000.
Dude, I love that.
33,000 miles. Just a nice, clean car. The driver's seat has pretty standard wear and tear, just like worn leather, but no rips or tears or anything.
Right.
And then the rest of the car is perfect.
I don't know, something's up with either my mouse or my browser. I can't scroll, so I can't look at it. I have one picture, and I can see that the selling price, but it looks super clean, man.
Right.
It's funny how goofy those cars look, and most cars of the era, stock. That thing, you could fit a fist and probably 2 more fingers between the tire and the fender lip. It's insane how high those cars were from the factory. But it looks super clean. I love that body style. I think these things are due to blow up like Fox bodies any minute. I mean, more power, obviously more technology, but better creature comforts and suspension, handling, all improved over the Fox body. I think it's just a matter of taste. People think that those cars are kind of bubbly and just too 90s.
They're of the period for sure. Which I think is what we're going to look back on with cars right now too, to be honest. Or a couple years ago, the Civic Type R is a good example. Not the new one coming out, but the current one. It's just very creased and angular, and then certain I like what Hyundai is doing in a lot of things, but in other things they're doing this design language on the side of a lot of their cars where it looks like the cars are like already dented. It's this weird fucking thing that I hate.
It's like a take on like BMW's old flame surfacing. Like there's creases and bends and stuff where they don't need to be, and it's just it's like I always say about the C8, it's just overly styled. It's like just or adding visual interest where it's not needed.
Right. And another good one too is the Tundra. The new Tundra is overstyled by so much.
We just got one. I saw it in the parking lot at work yesterday. Oh my god, dude, not feeling it at all.
Nope. And it's funny because the inside of it is way better than the old Tundra.
Sure.
And it drives great.
Yeah.
With turbo V6, and it's more power than the old V8, and it's just hideous to look at.
What is the interior on this Cobra really quick, since I can't scroll and see it? I don't know. What the fuck is up with that?
Let me open it myself. It is... Oh, I gotta do this. Actually, I wonder if I can... Hold on. I think we're going to try something here. Open System Preferences. Chrome tab. Give me 1 second. We're gonna work this new system. Watch this shit.
Okay. Are you gonna bring it up?
Yes, I'm gonna bring it up.
All right, dude.
See if this works.
Up there with the big boys.
Sharing. Okay. Do you see it?
Yes.
And if I scroll, yep. Okay.
Really?
So I can scroll in my tab, and you see the ads. Thank you, SoCal. So see, the driver's seat has like creases, like.
So it's leather. It's really grainy, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, those seats get super creased, but the leather is super tough. So I mean, you got to really wear one out to like bust rips and tears in them.
And the other seats all look perfect. It's just like clearly somebody did enjoy those 33,000 miles.
Totally.
But like spotless underneath.
Yeah. High speed. They were like 300, 320 horsepower. They sound amazing with exhaust, and that looks like it's got Flowmasters or something like that. That'd be a totally fun car that I would just do suspension. I mean, me personally, I would just do suspension wheels on and maybe a supercharger or something if they're still available, and call it a day, dude.
Yeah. So that's the good one. Now, this is actually fun now that I know that I can do this shit. And then, so the bad one, the one that I think is crazy, I'm not going to pull it up first, but I'm going to tell you. It is a 2009 Honda S2000 CR. So CR are the club racers. Those are the fixed roof with the wing. And
I wasn't well versed, so I didn't know what that entailed.
Yeah.
So that it's a fixed hardtop. You can't remove that hardtop?
I think you can still take the top off. It's just that it is a removable hardtop.
Okay.
But so the CR is the club racer package. They only made, according to this, 700 of them. Just had a little bit of aero extra bits when the hardtop is one of those things. So I'm going to share this.
No turbos, no supercharger.
No, stock, bone stock. It is 123 miles, which is
no, but I mean
granted,
from the factory. Like it wasn't optioned up with like a ton more power or anything.
Oh no. Nope.
Yeah.
So here we go. Sharing the screen. It's going to pop up. $200,000.
It's fucking outrageous, dude.
For a Honda.
It makes no sense. I don't understand.
And then
somebody make sense of this for me, because
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I know things are, and here's the fun part, because you can click on this. This one got away. Click to see others, but I like this on Bring a Trailers. They show this chart, and it's probably not going to be that clear in your window, but this right here is the sale.
It's an outlier by like 200%.
This is the rest of the market.
And I mean, there's three others that are over 100K. That's still outrageous to me.
Yeah. And
I've never driven an S2000. I have a couple friends with one. I'd like to give one a try, but like I just can't imagine it being that goddamn good.
It's not. So I like the S2000. I don't love it. I think people get overly excited about the S2000 because it drives really nicely, but to get it to where you want it to be, you have to cane the absolute shit out of it. That engine needs to live at the top. It needs to rev to make its power, and some people really like that, and it just gets tiresome in that car. It handles well. It's definitely like a fun driver's car, but it is so far from a $200,000 experience. It's crazy. And clearly with 123 miles and someone has that much money, this one is going into a collection.
Right.
I just don't see the return on
Right.
investment.
I don't either. I don't see us ever getting there. It's not. I mean, it's not an exotic. Okay, it's super limited. It has no miles, but I mean, again, I just don't understand a car like that where you're showing that you never plan to drive it, so you're never going to enjoy the car. I don't think the market will ever catch up to that. I don't get it, but it's got to mean something to somebody.
Right. Right.
Or it's fucking some crypto trader that really just has to fucking park his money somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Could be one of those too.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't get it. So that was my insane one. There's always some fun
NFTs. I guess I'd rather see outrageous money going into cars than fucking
Bored Ape,
non-fungible, whatever the
Bored
fuck. Bored
Ape. Yeah,
monkeys and shit.
yeah, and I guess it just like a bunch of them just got hacked, and like millions of dollars of them just got stolen, which millions of nothing. It's a
Took my
fucking
nothing and you gave it to somebody else.
wow. It's just a fascinating. I understand it from the perspective of artists who are using it to make a living with like original art, digital art pieces,
Sure.
or photographers where you get the rights to that photograph, and so. And I want creators to be able to make money, but
Of course.
These like slightly different Bored Ape avatars going for crazy things, and then people buying like Jack Dorsey's tweet for millions, and then trying to sell it and making no money.
No, bro.
Fucking, it's wild
money
shit.
laundering.
Yeah,
Money laundering is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wild. But enough about those cars. I want to talk about two cars I drove in the last few weeks. I wrote it one way in the notes, but I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to start with the Hyundai Kona N, because I don't think we talked about that one last time.
Nope.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't expect it to be as good as it is. So, like, the Veloster N is really good, the current one.
Right.
It's actually really great. This is like just a taller Veloster N without the goofy doors and like a more palatable shape. Yeah, this handling felt great. The brake.
What's your beef with the Veloster shape? What do you mean palatable?
I think they do the two doors on one side, one door on the other side thing just for like a gimmick, and it just put all the doors there, or it's just stupid.
Okay.
It was like neat and fun when it first came out, but just put the other door there. Like, come on, or take the other one away. I don't care. It looks silly now.
Right.
The rest of the design I'm fine with. But the Kona, it whipped. It has like an 8-speed dual clutch. It had a front diff because you could get some torque steer out of it. Because it's a lot of horsepower going on the front wheels. The handling felt good. I think the brakes were like 14-inch front rotors on a subcompact crossover. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was comfortable. Its Hyundai interiors are great right now. So, and I think it was like $35,000. And like there's no real options to throw at it. That's just what it is. That's what it cost. And any new car under 40, I'm always incredibly curious about.
Yeah, especially a performance version. It's got upgraded hardware and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool, man. Like I honestly didn't even know what it was. I wouldn't know it. Like I feel like I haven't done my research and like really done a deep dive into like all the Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis products. Like I know Genesis pretty well.
Right.
But every time I see like a new Kia or a new Hyundai, like I'm like, I get pumped. Like it's like a shot of adrenaline on the road. It's like, holy shit, what is that? Like,
right.
And it's always a Hyundai or a Kia, and I think they look great, and it's cool that they're making really great product, and it's affordable.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now on the flip side, the other car, the one that I have parked outside right now, is the Land Rover Defender 90 V8.
Yeah.
Yes, appropriate reaction. It is hilarious in that it was funny because I was reading a couple other reviews to get just some basic notes and facts and figures in my head for my Auto Trader review I shot today. And in one of the earlier reviews, some British journalist was like, shockingly, it doesn't move about a lot when you get on the throttle. I'm like, I don't know what you were driving, because this thing picks up like a trophy truck. Like the nose comes way up, and then under braking, the nose goes way down.
Shit.
But like, it's stupid, but it's so funny. It feels like a luxury baby off-road vehicle in that way, in that it's like there's some travel there. That, it's like it's moving, and I appreciate that because
I'm curious.
We got it dirty.
That's what I was going to. I'm curious if it's like more street tuned suspension, or is it just as capable as the rest of the range? Like, did they make any sacrifice to accommodate all that power? As far
No,
as like off-road
they
prowess?
didn't. And they did dial in. It's the first Defender with so it has terrain response, which is the different driving modes. Terrain response 2, whatever the fuck it's called. This is the first Defender with dynamic, which normally the Range Rover, the Range Rover Sports have, which sportens things up, stiffens the dampers and all that shit.
Right.
But it still has like mud and ruts, snow, like all the other modes. It has a center diff and a rear diff that are lockable. It has air suspension. You can raise it up. You can change the ground clearance by like 3 inches or something like that. It has amazing wading depth. The wading depth is 35.4 inches that you can go into, which is, I think, the most in the market. It's like 900 millimeters or some shit, or like 2.5 feet, or more than that. And then the approach, departure, breakover angles are all really good. I still think that the 110 looks better, even though everybody else is like, I want the 90.
The 90 looks really stubby and short.
It's super
and just
stubby.
Kind of like, especially with the big wheels, it looks kind of, I don't want to say goofy, but it looks like cartoonish.
I think I agree with you.
Like inappropriately small.
Yes, it is better off-road because of the stubby little ass it has.
Right.
However, it's not like the 110 is sacrificing that much. I mean, the breakover a little bit, sure, but I don't care. I mean, plus I want a 4-door anyway because of family and dog and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I think it looks better. But this one has 22s. We still took it off-road. It still did
So
fine,
silly.
even on some like dumb tires, some like Conti Sport contacts. You can, I think it's either a no-cost or a $350 option to drop to 20s.
That's so
and get
funny.
all terrains.
I love that.
Yeah. 20s are the small wheel, and then you can fit knobbies, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but it whips. It's 518 horsepower. It's not that loud in the cabin, but when you're outside of it, it sounds fucking awesome.
Anything like that? I mean, same motor as that Jag F-Pace SVR you had, right?
But I think the
obviously
F-Pace might have made more power. I have to look this up.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably tuned differently because of the exhaust and shit. It's not as shouty, I would imagine.
The F-Pace makes 542, I guess, or 550, and more torque. They tune it back a little bit so that you're not just flipping the fucking thing, I guess. Only 518 horse and 461 pound-feet of torque. But every now and then, when you let off, it like barks a little bit out back.
Yeah.
But it doesn't overdo it. It's like great. It just sounds like a proper V8, and I really appreciate that. I like it a lot.
If you got it for a few more days, I'd like to meet up and go for a ride. I don't know why that thing just like interests me. I don't love it, but like it just seems so ridiculous.
Might be
especially
worth bringing it.
2022.
Might be worth bringing it over to the shitbox speakeasy, perhaps.
Indeed.
It's covered in dirt right now, which is fun. And then, the dumb part about it, they offered in 3 colors: gray, black, and white.
That's interesting. I mean, I guess I've never seen one in another color, but why?
In the regular cars, they do. In the non-V8s, there are other colors.
Yeah, but why?
I saw one today that was like this bluish teal that they were promoting when they were early launching the vehicle. And Land Rover on other models has some great colors. Some good reds, some good greens, some good blues. The V8s have a really good blue on the brake caliper. It's this like pop of blue, which is kind of cool. But the cool thing about this one is it's a special edition called the Carpathian Edition. And it gets satin protective finish on the paint. So it looks like matte paint, but it's a satin paint protection. And it's supposed to protect with like brush and shit off-road.
So it's like a PPF? It's like a film that's added from the factory?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. They do that on other models too. So like if you get like the top spec Range Rovers and when you're building them online, when you go to pick a color, a lot of times you pick a color and then there'll be a couple options drop down and one of them will be like the satin version of it for like a bunch of their colors. So you get like British Racing Green in satin. And
one of my old bosses had a Range Rover, whatever the big boy, supercharged. It was an autobiography and it was this insane matte metallic blue. That car was so gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was a coating or a film that was added later. I thought it was just satin
I don't know. I don't know if that's how they did it then, but it's how they do it now.
3 or 4 years ago, yeah.
Oh, it's maybe.
I don't know.
But it is. I
Interesting.
like it a lot, and I would take the 110. But as tested, it is $115,000, which I'm going to tell you why it's not bad.
Do you remember when like $100,000 car meant a Ferrari, a Porsche Turbo,
Yes,
a Lamborghini? Like shortly after that, it was like some AMGs, like the baddest SL, like with like a fucking twin turbo V12. But now just SUVs, like
Actually, you know what was always surprising
SUVs
price
are
wise?
like right around $100,000, like average.
The one that always blew me away, and it was like this for a long time, CLs. A new CL, AMG, you were always like, wait, that one's how much? That was usually one of the more expensive ones that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
Like CL65s were like $200,000. Well, the rest were still $100,000 cars.
Right.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Which is why I want a used one for like $9,000.
Totally. Yeah.
Those things.
You'll buy it for $9,000, but it'll end up costing you $30,000 to be drivable and like acceptable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So here's why the Defender 90 pricing makes sense. A Jeep 392 Wrangler is here, and then a G-Class is way over here. A Wrangler a Defender lives in the middle, the V8, and somehow competes with both of them.
Right.
It is, so the Wrangler is high 70s to like low 80s with options.
You're going to be in the 80s for that, almost certainly.
Say 82 with a few options, right? The G-Class, the 550, starts at 138, and the 63 starts at 158 or something like that. Those have tons of options, so you can go way higher on those.
But also, let me interject really quick. Are Defenders, I doubt they are, but are they trading for sticker? Because, those sticker prices for a G-Wagon are irrelevant because you're going to pay $300,000 for one right now.
Right.
I don't know about ordering. I don't even know if you could order one this year, but they've got $150,000 markups. Like, there's plenty of G-Wagons for sale and selling for $300,000+.
That is very true. That's why I didn't want to. That's why I didn't say dealer markup on the Wrangler, because those will get hit too, but nothing is getting knocked like the G-Wagon. It's wild. So I was going just straight MSRP. And in that case...
MSRP is kind of irrelevant.
True.
The last
but that's the only
year
space I can play in.
Sure.
For the purposes of my argument. Because the G-Wagon then is actually even less a part of the equation, because I don't think Defenders are trading. I'm sure there's markups, especially on V8s.
Right.
But there's markups on the 392 Wranglers because it's, fucking Mopar product. And so say there's markups on all of them. But regardless, the Defender is more powerful and more refined than the Jeep. And then it's also more powerful than the 550, but the G-Class is the G-Class. So like the Defender at 115 versus 80, and then sky's the limit. It makes sense once you really like that. All right, fucking, that's how much that costs.
Yeah.
Sucks, but
you put it that way, and you realize there's an $80,000 Wrangler. That's a tough pill to swallow, but whatever. The premium for the Land Rover makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. The funny thing was, so we shot it up on Maple Springs Truck Trail, which is where I shoot a lot of off-road stuff. And we just came down the trail. We're near the trailhead entrance. And Josh, my video partner, is shooting interior stuff, so I'm just kind of hanging out. We're in a shady spot. And a dude starts driving the other way to head up the trail in a Defender, in a blue one, in a 4-cylinder, base, steel wheels. I love those wheels they throw on them. He stops the truck, hops out. John's like, oh, this guy's going to talk your ear off. And he did. He's like, oh, you guys just come down from the trail? We're like, yep. It's like, sweet. He's like, I'm going up. Is this a good spot to air down? I'm like, you don't need to air down. He's
You
like,
on 22s, bro.
no, he had the steelies. He had the small
No, but
ones.
you were on 22s.
Right. No, you're right. But I wanted to say, like, you have better tires than I do.
Right.
And because he did, just quick glance at him. But I'm like, he's like, no, I don't need to. And he was walking towards the back, which made me think he paid for the optional, because you can get these with onboard air compressors,
Sick.
which is super rad.
Yeah.
But he was probably going to, air down. I'm like, oh, you don't need to air down. And he's like, no. I'm like, you're totally fine. Trust me. He's like, okay, sweet. And he went. And so after he left, Josh and I were making fun of him a little bit, because it was silly to us that you would think you would need to air down for this trail. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. This dude bought this Defender, and he's taking it to the dirt.
Right.
And that is awesome. So I felt bad for making fun of him. But then Josh reminded me, he's like, no, like, we didn't make fun of him to his face. Like, that would be shitty. I'm like, he's like, but we're allowed to laugh at him after. I'm like, that's a pretty good point. But I would like to shout out to Mr. Defender Man, taking your 4-cylinder Defender up the hill on your tires. You don't need to air down. Good for you for getting the thing dirty. So there's
Totally.
using
counterpoint. The only real off-road experience I had back last December when I took the Gladiator, the company Gladiator, out. We were out basically in Barstow, just like, there wasn't very serious trails, but like there were some rough spots and there was some mud holes. Like, we kind of got the full gamut of the Southern California off-road experience, I would say.
right.
That truck bounced all over the fucking road and annoyed the shit out of me until we aired down to like, I think like 15, 18 PSI. And then it became so much more livable and comfortable. And I was just like, dude, why didn't we do this from the beginning? Like, we were halfway through when we thought to air down. And I was just like, it was so rough and uncomfortable. I'm just like, this made a huge difference. Like, even if it wasn't necessary, like, we didn't have any traction issues or anything, but like, it just made such a huge difference. And I think if you have like, a compressor and you have the capability to air down and reinflate like quickly, like, I would take advantage of it any chance I got, just because it made that big a difference in ride quality.
It's a fair point. And I will say, driving the one with 22s up the hill was almost shockingly comfortable with the air suspension. I don't think his 4-cylinder would have had the air suspension, but it still would have been fine. But yes, fair argument to be said for that. But the way I took it from him to be more of like a traction thing. Right. But I never considered it from a ride comfort thing. But either way, all right. Kudos to the dude for taking it off-road. Now, speaking of off-road stuff, picked up my Montero today. Had some stuff installed. Very excited about it.
What do you got?
Yes. Light bar. It's operational.
Yeah. Sick.
The radio is operational. I even tested it today because I can talk to walkie-talkies with it. So I gave this one to my daughter, and she was upstairs in her room, and I walked out front of my truck, and we were talking to each other.
Wait, tell me about this radio. It's not a CB. I saw something that looked like a CB, but
so it's from Rugged, and it's called the GMR 45. They also make a GMR 25. I think that's just the signal strength. So theoretically, mine's like a 45-mile range if I had pure, on an unobstructed. If I was in the fucking desert, basically. Okay. And it's not a CB band. It's just a different band where you can talk to walkies. It's like a more powerful walkie-talkie, basically, mounted in my truck. I bought a stealth antenna, so the antenna's only like that big, and it's mounted to my roll cage. So in case I have needs down the road. Yeah. So if I have needs down the road, here, I'm going to pull it up because we can fucking do that on the on the thing. This is very exciting for me. So it's the GMR 45. Let me go to their page. This isn't paid. I bought this, which you have to say these days because when we get paid shit, we tell you that. But this is not paid. Share. All right. So
I'm genuinely curious. Like, I want to know how this shit works.
High power mobile radio, more wattage, more range, walkie-talkie compatible. It's fucking dope. Yeah, I got this little stealth antenna thing. It's I don't know. I don't know all this shit.
What did you say you mounted the antenna to?
It's mounted to the roll cage or the roof rack.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you have
The
a
roof
roll
rack,
cage?
not the roll cage. Yeah, I'm rolled up now. No, we're going serious. But yeah, you can talk to like all these radios. So if we were on the trail and doing shit, like we could talk car to car, and you know, it's cool.
That's sick.
I'm stoked on it. So that's in, and then Dometic sent me the powered cooler. So that is in the back. It's just sitting there. I gotta figure out a way to really lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have, you can see it right there by the next to the Larry Chen picture, and the Nürburgring picture is this little. It's hard to do backwards. That fucking thing. That black box is a portable battery bank from Dometic. It's their PLB3, which does like 80 hours of power.
Or just like
it's just a giant
power
battery.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can run the cooler off of that and charge devices. And
Nice.
then my plan is to get solar to keep that thing topped up, while that's keeping the cooler topped up. So we're getting there. There's some
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got to figure out a way. I want to get. There's a company called Goose Gear, which makes like storage solutions, and they make some vehicle-specific ones, but they don't make anything for the Gen 1 Montero. They make one for the Gen 3 randomly, and I want to see if I can take that plate and make it work in the back of mine somehow. I got to do some measuring. But once you have that metal plate down in the back, then you can put like drawers and sliders on top of that plate to secure shit in the back.
I told you about our neighbors at the Shitlock Speakeasy that kind of specialize in that kind of stuff. So, yeah, you got to bring it by and let them check it out and see what kind of solution they can come up with. Maybe it'd be easier to buy something for the Gen 3 and then modify it to fit.
Yeah, that could be the way to go.
That's cool. I
would like to do that.
Full-on bug-out whip in the making.
Yeah, I do. I got to get the bags.
Anytime you have solar, anytime you have your own power source, like you are. Do you know something I don't know?
They'll be like
nuclear war imminent. Do I need to
like,
get the fuck out of Long Beach?
No, because like when the shit goes down, they're like, "Oh, thank God! What do you got in the cooler?" I'll be like, 4 IPAs and fucking chips and guac, baby. Like that's all I got. I got some bullet for my. I got to go to Long Beach pick up my boy because he's out. He's not getting him out of trouble. Tahoe's stuck. Fox isn't running.
Tahoe can't even get out of the garage.
No.
So,
yeah. So yeah, it's me, my family, Ron. We're following Anthony and his family in his Tundra.
Yeah.
We're heading up into Arrowhead. We're getting the fuck out.
Totally. You know who I want on my side when shit does go down, and he's a mutual friend, and he'd be right there with us and lead the way is Mike Rice and his crazy Wrangler. Like that thing is like a pack mule. He'll be able to fucking get through anything.
Right. Or the other one would be a friend from Motor Trend, Sean Holman.
Yeah.
Because same setup with his shit, and he's also I guess he's a great camp cook, which would be nice too. So that'd be nice as well. Actually, I know I have another friend who has he just got his the AEV Prospector.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yeah, so he's
Mike
got
ordered a bunch of those. Like I don't know if they're spec for customers or if they just bring them in and flip those. But he
has one. There's some Dodge dealer that's like the Dodge dealer to get them from.
That's Mike's dealership. Yeah. It's,
okay.
So his shop is attached to Huntington Beach, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, whatever the fuck all it is. And I think the name of their business is Adventure Off Road, and they are an AEV dealer, so they order in a bunch of those prospectors in all different specs, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he orders them to spec for customers, if he orders them to his own spec, and then they sell them once they arrive. But Mike is the dude for that shit.
Nice. I think there's one in LA though that is also like huge for it that my buddy might have went to. But he has the Prospector XL, which I think has fucking 40s on it, and then it has the full in-bed camper now too. He's off in Utah right now with his family, just doing Prospector shit. It's sick. The truck is insane. And then he also has a Jeep with the camping shit too. So, but whatever. on the side of cars that aren't going well. Oh shit! Did we talk about this on the last podcast? My Jaguar shit.
We talked briefly about the fuel leak, but or the fuel smell, but and then the cooling issues, but it's not there clearly. So have you sent it off for?
We didn't talk about the alternator.
No, I don't remember that. Mm-mm.
Oh my god! All right.
Sad face.
So I was like, let's see. My daughter came home. This was late last week, I guess. I mean, it must have been in between podcasts. Late last week, they were doing stuff. I'm like, all right, I got a minute. I'm just going to swap the battery on the Jag because I have these two Optima Red Tops that I was given that I'm supposed to cover because another journalist got them in the wrong size for his vehicle. He's like, can you do a story on them? I'm like, yeah, probably. And then they're just like sitting here. I'm like, fuck, I should pick these up. So I was like, you know what? Let me throw one in the Jag because there's some weird stuff happening with it where I put in a new alternator, everything's running well, but then when like at idle, it's just kind of the voltage is dropping at idle, then it's coming back up, and then now my fans.
You may
are
have mentioned that, but yeah, you definitely hadn't swapped the batteries.
Okay, so when I went to swap the battery, I put the one terminal on, and then I put the other terminal on, and then immediately smoke starts pouring out of the alternator. I put the terminals on backwards. So
listen, I've hooked up jumper cables backwards, and I'll be completely honest. Like my Mustang, like whoever wired the Mustang, like the previous owner did a wire tuck and relocated the battery to the trunk. Every single time I have to change battery or like put the terminals back on the battery, I freak the hell out because both wires are black. Both the ground and the power wire are black. And I'm like, why would you do this? Like, I'm colorblind. It's hard enough for me to figure out wiring, but like now I like got to follow the wire. Like if it's been some time, like I got to follow one wire because I know I re-grounded the ground wire like years ago. So now I got to get under the car and like tug on the wire and figure out which is which. But I'm just like, this should be the power wire because it's got a bunch of shit attached to it, but then there's a bunch of shit attached to the ground too. Like I'm just like, this is such a mess, and I've definitely reattached or just briefly like touched the terminals to the wrong.
This wasn't briefly. I put it on.
Fuck.
And I hear, and I look and I'm like, holy shit! And I think, and then I whip the one off. I was like, that was crazy. And then the wires are like super hot.
They get super hot super quick. Yeah.
So I was like, well, that was fucking weird. So then I did it again to see what would happen. Did it again. I was like, and then I'm looking at that battery. I'm like, what? And it's not black and red under my hood. It's black and beige. And I didn't think about that at all. But then I look because I remember I just taken the older battery out and put it on the floor at my feet. And I remember the orientation with which I took it out of the car and set it down. And I looked at it on the ground and I could see the big plus, the big minus. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. And I knew exactly what I did. And I looked at the cable that I thought was the positive, and it clearly just went to a bolt on the fender. I'm like, that's very clearly a ground. And then so I was like, this is the dumbest shit. That's a brand new alternator, like less than 6 months old.
Ugh.
And I was like, I'll finish this tomorrow. And the funny part is, here's another very, very funny part where the first cable, the one that I thought was the positive, where I was putting it on the positive side before I put the other one on, it wasn't going on smoothly. Like it was a little too small, and I just thought it was like a shitty older terminal end. So I got it wedged on, and then I hammered it on the rest of the way.
Totally, yeah, that's what you do
with a mallet.
Biggest hammer you can find, just whack it.
So I got the battery switched around the next morning, and I turned the car on just to see how bad it was. And like the volts would just sit at like 11 or 12. I'm like, all right, so clearly it's not charging.
Yeah.
It's just draining. I mean, I can turn the car on, I can drive it, but it's just going to drain the battery. So I'll wait till the shop gets the part in, and I'll drive the car there. Hopefully there's not more like fusible links and shit toasted, but whatever. They'll deal with it.
Those are the worst.
So I got to fix the alternator. I still got to fix the fuel leak, and I still got to fix the AC. And the car's outside right now because they were supposed to get the part Monday or Tuesday, so the car's just parked on the street. I'm like, whatever. If someone steals it,
why don't you pull it in?
Because they're like any day now they're going to call me, and like I don't feel like starting it, wasting more battery, even though it's a brand new red top, so there's plenty of life in that battery. I just don't want to deal with it right now. It's fine out there. Yeah. I live in a quiet neighborhood. And you know what? If someone stole it, fucking more power to you.
I hope, yeah, totally.
I wonder what
they won't get very far.
I was gonna say I got to figure out if I have stated value on that or not. I got to juice that boy up.
Hopefully,
any updates in your automotive world?
Little bit. Last week I went over to the Shitbox Speakeasy,
right?
And I changed out the rag joint steering shaft on the Tahoe for the brand that I think is called Cunningham Machine.
Okay.
But they have a U-joint replacement steering shaft, and you take the stock top end of the top half of the steering shaft and you insert it in the new aftermarket unit, and whoa, there's like an overland meet going on outside my window. There's
I'm outside. I'm outside. Me and Mike down here.
There's a new Bronco and a newer Tacoma, both like lifted and just like fully kitted. But
nice.
Anyway, and there's also a Challenger with underglow sitting in a parking spot.
With the underglow on, what color?
Oh yeah, it's I'm colorblind, but I think it's orange. Could be green.
I don't want to cut your because I want to get back to the steering thing, but I remember I was driving through a Target near me once, and I stumbled upon like 3 dudes in the back corner of the parking lot with their rigs and like their tents unfolded, and one was cooking, and I'm like, they're like testing their shit out, like they just got to prep for some trip, or they're meeting up, eating their burritos, and then setting off. I thought that shit was hilarious. But please continue. So upper goes into the lower.
Yeah, so it's basically it retains the 2-piece factory style, but it replaces the rag joint, which is, I don't know if that shit, I don't know what that material is, but basically it's 2 plates that sandwich like seemingly carbon-based material. It's just like, I mean, they call it a rag joint, but those things break down, and mine was actually in pretty decent shape. Like, I thought it was going to look a lot worse because that shit breaks down, and then like you get a lot of slop in the steering. And I've always had a ton of slop in the steering of that truck, so I bought this thing months ago, and it's just been a matter of time of and confidence. Like, I'm just like, I don't, when I needed it to drive every day, I didn't want to take a chance of fucking disassembling it and then being down for a day or whatever. Like, I just, I wanted to play it safe and wait until I, really didn't have to drive it for a day or two in case something went wrong or I missed something. So anyway, it replaces that sloppy rag joint with the UV joint, and it made, I want to say it made a world of difference. It didn't, but what it did do, and this was really what I hoped for, it's still, there's something else still going on with the front end of the truck. I don't have a front sway bar installed currently. The truck came with the sway bar. But I think I talked about this before. There's a bunch of back and forth with Beltec and the shop that was going to install it, and I haven't gotten I ordered the wrong parts, so I haven't got the right sway bars. I need to follow up on that, and I'll buy them. I have no problem buying the sway bars, but there's no front sway bar currently, so there's still some slop in the front end, but it's pretty dramatically improved. Just straight line driving. Normally I was just to keep the thing straight on the freeway, it was just constantly readjusting and just it was annoying. But the biggest issue was when I'd hit the brakes and the truck would jerk to the right. It would basically change lanes. If I were in a panic stop situation, a dude cut me off 2 weeks ago, going under an overpass on the 405, this dude just decides to change lanes and didn't see me. And I slam on the brakes, and luckily there was nobody next to me because the truck just went into the next lane. There was nothing I could do about it. And, it sets up a scary situation where you're trying to correct and overcorrect and, not lose it. But, now slam on the brakes, truck tracks straight.
That's
it
good.
Doesn't do any of that shit. So,
I guarantee when you get the sway bar in there, you're going to be all right, we're good. We're home. Yeah. We did it. And now that you have the Shitbox Speakeasy, you can probably knock that sway bar out in an afternoon.
Oh yeah, totally. We have a new 4-post lift, so I can lift that thing and like get underneath it, and it's cool. Like even without the 4-post or without the 2-post, without the 2-post, the Mustang is now up on the 4-post, and like I can look at that and see all the suspension, all the shit that I've done, and like that I've never really been able to check out. Like I just haven't put that car in the lift since I've done a lot of stuff with it, and it's like, oh, like, yeah, I forgot I did that. Like it's got full Maximum Motorsports like front end with K-member, A-arms, everything. Maximum Motorsport sway bars front and rear, and QA1 coilovers, and it's just like cool to like be reminded, like, yeah, I did all that. Like I got all that shit. Like this car is gonna be fun as hell once I figure out these electrical gremlins and get it back on the road.
Absolutely. That's awesome. I love hearing that shit.
Yeah.
Let's jump to our questions. And I smartly decided to, because when I was on the Smoking Tire podcast, I noticed that Zach put the questions in their notes so that I'm not like looking at my phone and jumping to Twitter. And I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking smart.
So where are the notes? Because I don't see them.
They're at the bottom, underneath the questions part. They might not have updated into yours. I copied and pasted some shit.
I don't think I'm not the owner, so I don't get to see them.
Oh, they're at the bottom. No, nothing all the way at the bottom. Weird. All right. First question.
I was trying to turn my volume up so that I could go get a drink.
Oh, you can get a drink? Oh, as I read the question. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear.
Phil Darlington at Phil D. Weather. There's a big push still going for hydrogen. Is the weight being placed on EV cars just overhyped, misplaced, or will electric be focused on some forms of transportation and hydrogen for others? I think consumer transportation will definitely be more electric-based for now, and I think more commercial-based transportation and movement of goods could move towards a hydrogen solution just because it is significantly more scalable than EV battery technology. Because for hydrogen scalability, you just increase the size of the hydrogen tank to get, whereas making more batteries adds so much more weight. It's like it's an easier scalability problem. Greg Katchadurian at Greg C. Catch, the Hooniverse news editor. This is a good question. Are you sure there isn't anything bad to say about the 7 Series that you haven't already said? I would like to change that because we are not an overtly negative podcast, and I'm going to try to say something nice about it. The back seat with that 31-inch screen and the 36-speaker sound system would be fucking dope to sit in if you were getting driven somewhere, you know?
It'd make for a dope, like, limo-style experience.
Yes.
But, so would a Rolls-Royce. Like,
yes, but a Rolls-Royce does not have a 31-inch screen that dims when you flip it down. Dude, sitting back there, because you have that and you'd have a cool drink in your hand.
Chauffeur experience is all about the pull-up. Pull-up game strong with Rolls-Royce. Not so much with that 7 Series.
What if?
Is that a Kia? Is that a Hyundai? What is that? Like, I mean, there's no mistaking the kidneys, but it's just an ugly fucking car. Nobody wants to roll up in that shit.
What if I was getting shuttled from here to, like, Paso Robles to go have a wine weekend, and someone was driving my ass?
Super dope. I'm
watching movies, and I don't care about the pull-up at that point.
Okay, yeah.
Also.
Like, how many baller-ass fools have that experience? Like, that specific experience.
You know, the best way to do it is one of those, like, private jet-style Sprinter vans.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. There's so many, like, better ways. Like, the technology is dope. The rear seat experience, I'm sure, is incredible, but I can think of
say one good thing about the car.
Half a dozen better experiences.
Say one good thing about the car. Well, the electric one sounds dope.
Sure. I mean, I just
the V8 one still.
I'm in. What do they call it? An aesthete. Like I'm focused on aesthetics. Like that's my career. That's my personality. Like shit has to look good. So it's
okay.
I feel bad disparaging.
Oh, don't feel bad.
A team of experienced designers, but they just keep taking L after L after L, and they need to know it. Like, they don't need to be encouraged to continue down this path.
You be Barkley, and they can be Kevin Durant right now. And he can sit his ass down. Thanks for the Celtics. Sweep. Bye, bitches. Next question. Andy the Lab at Andy _the lab. Fucking Barkley is owning Durant's brain right now, and I love it. Why don't we spend more time creating vehicles that are truly large dog friendly, especially if pets are the largest growing consumer segment and the retriever is the most popular breed, because the available options aren't cutting it? I think because I know you're very dog focused, Andy, and I love your content. It is always wonderful. I think you would just be cutting your feet off. I actually don't think there are a lot of automakers that take dog safety seriously, and I actually don't think there are a lot of dog owners that take in-car dog safety seriously. The amount of people I see with dogs up front makes me insane.
Yeah.
On their laps, if you crash,
it drives me crazy.
Your dog is the guts are in your face. Not
just in your lap, but out the window, like on your shoulder, on your door panel, like paws out the window.
Steering wheel.
Yeah, it's just like, I had a really scary experience a couple months back. I was dog sitting for my coworker Sam. His dog Maya she's great. She's a total Miami street mutt. Like, who even knows? Like, she doesn't look like any other dog on the planet, right? Like, she is 100% like unique and original, but she's very athletic. She's probably 4 or 5 years old. She's got a lot of battle scars. Like, she's been through it. She's actually, she's been on our podcast before,
right?
Because I've dog sit her before. I'm going to dog sit her next week. But she now she's developed a thing where when she's in the car, she doesn't want to sit in the seat. She wants to kind of hide on the floorboard. And I dog sit her a couple months ago, and I took her to work in the Tahoe. We're going home, and she didn't seem settled and comfortable in the backseat on the floor, so I let her get on the floor in the passenger footwell. And she looked uncomfortable. She looked skittish, and I said something to her, and I'm driving home on the 405 in traffic, and she kind of freaked out and ran over my side because the console is not full length. It doesn't separate the two footwells. So she freaked out, and she got under my feet. And I'm driving, and I'm in traffic, and I couldn't hit the brake, and I almost ran in the car in front of me, and it was super scary. But it highlighted something that I've always considered. There's all sorts of devices where you can basically make almost like a bed in the back seat.
Yeah.
But there should be some sort of restraint. There's a few different devices and a few solutions for that. But whether it's the front seat or the back seat, I would totally appreciate automotive designers taking that into consideration and having something they make tethers for car seats, and they make specific latch points for those, and they take that into consideration. But yeah, we absolutely should have, whether it's a factory available accessory or at least a latch point, something that you can attach an adjustable leash, adjustable length leash to keep dogs kind of in their place. You want your dog to be comfortable and not just panicked and feeling choked while you're in the vehicle. You got to give them a little bit of room and a little bit of freedom, but create a safe compartment for them.
Land Rover, oddly enough, offers in the Defender a it's not a cage, but there's a cage-like thing that goes straight up,
right?
And so they can't go from the rear cargo area. Yeah, and I think that's for dogs.
Yeah, totally. There's a bunch of aftermarket options like that, but they're still kind of in a pen that it's not. It's hard surfaces. It's not. In case of a panic stop or something, they're still going to slam into the back of the.
No, of course. I have something which I don't need to use because in the back seat, Pearl stays in the back seat. If I crack the window, she'll stick her head out. But I only give it so she can go that far, and she only goes in the back seat. And then we have something though that attaches to her leash that can click, or her collar that can click into the seatbelt buckle that can keep her there. but I don't even need to use that anymore, just because I don't like that this point of attachment is here. So if something happened, it's like that.
Right.
So there's no good solution for her, but at least she's in the back. I guess is
if you were to attach that to like a harness.
A harness,
like that would be helpful. At least it wouldn't choke her out or
harness
yank her around by her neck.
That would be the best way to do it. I think harness then to seat restraint is probably the safest way for the dogs for sure.
Yeah.
But thank you for the question, Andy the Lab. Jacob Brown at the Jacob Brown. Should wood paneling and Landau tops make a comeback? I'm okay with the idea of wood paneling on certain vehicles as special models, but Landau, I don't give a shit about. Landau.
I can't see wood paneling on anything. What vehicle would you?
Like if they offered a faux special edition of the Grand Wagoneer, just for like fun.
Okay, that would be cool, but I would also want it to be like even though in an environmentally conscious age.
Oh, that would be cool. Like balsa.
Right. Like I think I would want it to be some sort of real veneer.
Oh, okay.
Be authentic.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be frowned upon, especially when luxury car makers are offering synthetic leathers and non-animal interiors and stuff. Like I feel like that's probably not a step that any manufacturer would take, is to
if you did like bamboo
trees. I'm sure they would find a sustainable source or whatever.
Yeah.
But like
I said balsa,
a Grand
but
Wagoneer, like I could get behind that if it's done right. But like
it has to be done right, of course.
Not fake, but I don't know. Like that'd be interesting.
I'm with you.
Somebody's
that's a
gonna
good
do
idea.
it. There's going to be an aftermarket option for sure.
It'll be
It'll probably be vinyl, but whatever.
Yeah. At Rick Radcliffe at Rad 23 Racer, best automotive vacation that isn't the Nürburgring. I have an answer. I have a bunch of answers.
I'll go first.
I have one off the top of my head, but you go
Monaco
first.
GP.
That's a good
Can't
one.
afford
I thought of
it,
that.
but that is the pinnacle. Like that is it.
Mine is Goodwood.
Oh, hell yeah.
Goodwood was amazing. I'm very fortunate that I got to go once, and so there's it's funny I'm saying this. You say, as soon as you say something, you put it out there, and then like someone takes it. Not that someone also hasn't already been working on it, and I've probably mentioned it before, but I've tried to pitch the idea of this show called, the working in my head title is The Bucket List, but it has, Autoblog did a thing called The Bucket List. My idea was before that, but so I have to have a better title than that because it's too simple. My idea was that I would go to various bucket lists for the automotive enthusiast events, and then the show would kind of follow a three-pronged format each episode, where the initial thing is talking about the history and why you should go. The second middle portion is like showing you what's going on while we're there and why it's amazing, like to reinforce it. Like, so history, then why it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then the third part is we take it a step beyond and we get to do something special. So like Goodwood, the history of Goodwood, then we're there at Goodwood, like, look at this, blah, blah, blah. And then the third thing is like, then we get to drive a car up the hill, Another thing would be Daytona. You got to go to Daytona. Here's the history of Daytona. Here's why it's awesome. Oh, and we're doing a parade lap.
Yeah.
And you could do it for everything. You could do it from races to Goodwood, which isn't a race. Hold on, I got to shut my garage door.
Hi, Pearl.
My wife is home from her dinner, and my guard dog is unnecessarily guarding. So you could do it. You could do it to like Moab. Just the idea of like Moab. So there's so many things you could do it. So the whole idea, Nürburgring 24 hour, Le Mans. But again, non race stuff would be like the Tokyo Auto Salon, like shit like that.
That was on my bucket list, and I got to go in 2014, and that influenced my Mustang build. So it's like, I feel like I don't want to say to a real enthusiast or a real gearhead, but like
right.
To somebody that's informed and like has opportunity, there's like a handful of experiences that we all kind of look forward to, like, and there's all sorts of experiences that people aren't aware of, even well-informed enthusiasts and journalists and stuff. There's all sorts of cool experiences. Like I would love to go to like swamp buggy racing in Florida. Like I honestly feel like I would enjoy that as much as like an F1, international F1 experience. Like,
yes, I'm with you. 100%.
Kind of connecting with the locals, and I've been watching swamp buggy racing since I was like 4 or 5 years old, and like that's something that's so specific and to a certain region in this country in particular, and you won't find it anywhere else. And like these machines are built to a specific like capability, and they're high performance machines, but like they could get easily defeated by the race course. Like it's like that shit.
It's funny because you're tapping into another show I've always wanted to pitch too, which is like it's like a can I drive that? Like I'm an automotive journalist. I've driven a bunch of things, but I wanted to pitch a show where I like what is it like as a even though I'm an automotive journalist, I'm still a regular guy. Can I drive that? And it's like jet boats, swamp buggies, tanks,
monster truck. Number one on my list is a monster truck. All of it.
An F1 car, sand rails, a fucking ocean transport cargo ship. Mm-hmm. And you talk about the engineering of it and all that stuff, and see, it's another good show. But let's keep making all these fucking build shows.
Yo, don't air this shit. Fucking keep that for a pitch.
No. This is for posterity's sake. This is for posterity's sake, so when they make it with someone else, without my name in the credits, even though I'm sure there's like 15 other guys going, I've pitched the same show 10 times, bro. Get back of the line. I'll tell you an inside baseball story, actually, before we go to the next question. I pitched a show to a producer friend who has had shows produced and is well known in the industry. And he's like, I really like that show idea, but it's too smart. And I think it might have been the Bucket List show, maybe. And I'm like, too smart? Like, what do you mean by too smart? Like, but he's like, it's too smart because what all these studios want, they have to cater to the lowest common denominator.
The gas monkey garage.
Yes.
Clientele.
So he's like, so for example, we were asked to pitch a motorcycle build show to like change the spin of it because it'd been a while since OC choppers and shit like that. So they wanted one, tough, like, we got to get this build done, blah, blah, blah. But it's motorcycles. And he's like, we have this shop in a certain part of the country, and we have a great team. There's good personalities. Like, they make good builds, blah, blah, blah. It's perfect. It's what they want. And they took one look at it and they said, nope, because it's in a blue state. The red states will automatically hate it. And but the shop wasn't in a blue state or it was not in a blue area of the blue state. It just happened to be in it was in New York State or something like that. Again, not OC Chopper, but they're like, fucking New York, no. Like how quickly they forget. And so they're like, no, we can't do it. And it's like a perfectly packaged thing ready to go. So he's like, so your show,
fucks everything up.
Yeah. So it's you going all these fancy places and which is the whole idea, obviously. Selfishly, he's like, it's too smart. I'm like, fuck, that's very disheartening to hear because it to me is not a smart show. It's let's just go do something awesome and
fucking Tokyo Auto Salon, and then hitting a two-gay or hitting midnight runs and tuned 80s Porsches or Skylines.
That's why Rory Reed's One Night or 24 Hours in Japan remains one of my favorite Top Gear segments, including the original trio. Birdie Redfern at Birdie Redfern asks, if the engine went pop on the Montero, what engine swap would you consider, if any? What would you put in if money was no object? And what would Ron put in for shits and giggles? So I'll let you answer that in a second. I've already considered swapping the engine. I want the R28, that little Cummins R28 crate engine.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a 4-cylinder turbo diesel, but it's nearly the same size, and it would be fucking perfect in my truck, but it's like $9,000, and it's not smog legal in California. No money, no object. I would go with. I don't want to go with I don't want to say LS9. It doesn't need that.
Sure.
Money, no object. I would go in one of two directions. I would go with some form of V8 because V8s are great, or I would go with a really, 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 really well done EV conversion. Those are my answers. What would you put in?
That'd be super cool if you could do a 4-motor EV swap. So you'd have independent articulation, like of each wheel, and like apply power independently to each wheel. That would be dope. Is that what I would do? I would do like straight up fucking like Dubai style, like Nissan Patrol, fucking just 2JZ turbo 2JZ, just like bouncing off the limiter, just throwing sand everywhere, just bouncing off rocks. Like
there's
I wouldn't even.
Those are amazing.
Of course, I would put a V8 in almost anything, but like I feel like a 2JZ would be the answer. Just like,
that's a
silliness.
Brilliant answer, because those videos are insane. Those dudes like making 2,000 horsepower, just like the whole thing twists as they lift. There's a great video on like TikTok and Instagram Reels where it's like a guy. You know how the video
is just like spraying his friends with sand. He's just like
no. It's related to the 2J portion where you know how like someone makes a video and then someone takes that video and then like interrupts that video, where it's like nothing beats the V8 and the guy's like revving it by hand on the throttle. And there's this like he's a popular Asian mechanic. He's like no 2J, and he goes and he's like tilting his head back and like screaming with the engine. It's such a good little. It's like a quick video. It's awesome.
I gotta see that.
Yeah, I'll try to find it later. Untitled Car Show. He writes, "Why won't my Fiero just work? You know, like what the hell is valve lash anyway? Should I put the 3.4 bottom end in?" I don't know, man. You're messing with the car. I know you love Fieros. I don't. Me? I don't like. No. The question asker. Sorry,
exactly.
Not you. You're like, what?
Not my bag, bro.
No, I don't care for Fieros. So you could put a fucking anything in that. I don't understand valve lash either.
I would put one of those front drive LSs from like an Impala. Like, I don't know if they're 5.3s or 4.8s, but like, you know, they have like a transaxle. I would put something like that in there, and then I would do like a Diablo body kit. Like I would not have a Fiero bodied Fiero. Like I would totally have a whack ass kit car with a V8.
Well, you know what? Because Honda released, is it a Type R engine they released as a crate engine? They released a crate engine, and I think it's the Type R engine. Like,
you want to start a list of things I wouldn't know about? Start there.
Like GM style. So with like the computer, the throttle pedal, the key. Sure. Like, you know, I think it's the Type R engine. Here's a good question from Bobby Reed at Bobby Reed. What's the best part about the worst car you've ever owned? So what's the worst car you've owned?
Okay, the worst car I ever owned.
Why is it your Mustang?
It was fuck you. It was a Mark IV Jetta, Mark V Jetta. I don't know, the 99 to like 04s. I had to buy this car.
Hold on, I have a question though. What sorority were you pledging?
Pretty much, like that's exactly how it went. Like
was it white?
It was black leather VR6. So I had a Dodge Magnum, and I deferred maintenance on it. Let's just say that Magnum SRT8 I bought from a friend, and it was just a mess. Like that whole ownership experience was a mess. Fucking spun a bearing on that car, so it was sitting outside my work for months, and then like my boss was like, "Get this piece of shit out of here," and I was just like, anyway. There's a lot of complexity here, but I had to drive the Magnum home to get it away from our office, where it was just collecting dust and looking like shit. So I asked a coworker, like, "Hey, I was borrowing my roommate's VR6, fucking 99 Jetta, right?" And I asked him to drive the Jetta. I was just like, "You drive that back to my house. I'll drive the Magnum because it's going to blow up, and I'd rather be, you know, I don't want to subject you to that. You know how to drive stick? Because it was a 5-speed. Yeah, I know. Cool. All right." So we're driving home. And then he just pulls over on the freeway, like we're in like moderate traffic, and he pulls over. So I pull over. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, I know you got gas. Like, you didn't run out of gas. He's like, I don't know. I went to shift, and it just fucking stopped. So he went to upshift from 4th to 5th, and downshifted to 3rd, and basically blew the clutch. So I had to buy that Jetta. Because, like, my buddy was selling it. He was actively selling it, and I had to buy it, and it was a fucking just busted piece of shit, and I hated every minute in that car. And, yeah, I owned that for
Did it have a good system?
I owned that, no. Well, it did, actually. I installed the system
the best part?
For my buddy. Like it
So was
had
that
like
the
a
best part?
10-inch sub in the trunk. Like it did have a system, but I think I removed that, or he removed it before he sold it. Anyway, the best part of that car was the cup holders, and I only say that because they're the pop-out cup holders, like from the dash, and I don't know why. Like I always liked them, so I bought a set of those cup holders for my Mustang. So I actually have those Mark IV Jetta pop-out cup holders in
the
my
Mustang.
Wow. Because they're
That's
like low
amazing.
profile, they're like half an inch thick.
Yeah.
You press it, they pop out, like you have a little shelf to sit them in, and I was so impressed. Like that was the only thing about that car that impressed me and that I actually enjoyed, so I bought a set and installed them in my Mustang. So
What a great answer. Damn.
that's a great
My
question.
car-
I definitely have PTSD from owning that car and the Magnum as well. But got me there.
My car ownership list isn't as long as people might think. I've
Mine
owned.
either. I don't have a lot of turnover.
No, I had first car was a Honda Prelude. Next car was a Nissan 84 300ZX, 85 300ZX rather. Then a 98 Ford Ranger. Then I shared my wife's car for a while, and then I started getting press cars. And then I got my F100. I had my EM1 Civic, my SI. I still had my W123
I've never
wagon.
even seen that.
Obviously, that car came and went. It was fun. I got it for free. And then the Benz, the 114, the Montero, the Jag. So I haven't. So of those,
41
the
years
worst-
old, and being an enthusiast, like that's not a lot of cars. I don't
No.
think I've owned more cars than you.
No, like because there's like we're friends with people who've had tons of cars.
Yeah, like I've never really made a business out of flipping cars. Like I don't.
No,
I
I'm
don't-
bad at it.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
I'm bad at it too. But like,
I also got into
also, like,
sneakers during
Yeah.
COVID, and I'm bad at it.
Yeah,
I just bought a pair the other day on StockX that I won, and then I'm like, oh, these are going to be hot. And I purposely didn't pick my size because I usually get my size just in case I want to keep them. I'm like, I'm going to pick because all the resellers are like, no, get the smaller sizes because like the big sizes they make a lot of. Get the smaller sizes.
men's 9.
I got like a
if
men's
you're
like
buying the
8.5
foot,
or some
men's 9.
shit. Yeah,
The
I
men's
picked a
9 is
gum
the sample
size.
size.
But I wanted to pick a smaller size because these sneakers would specifically appeal more towards women. And I bought them, and the chart goes like this. It's like, what? They're like Billie Eilish Nikes.
Oh, dude,
And I won them
Should've
on,
should have bought 10 and a half. I would have bought those. The Velcro Air Force Ones. Come on, dog.
Sorry. I was like, maybe I should just keep these to exotic and wear them.
Do you still have those dunks? The undercover dunks?
The green ones?
No, the black ones. The black high tops.
Oh, no, my friend down the street bought them. Sorry. He saw them too. I was talking to you guys at the same time about the sneakers, and he walked over with cash. I was like, take them, please. Get 'em out of here.
My feelings are not hurt.
Okay.
They weren't even my size, but
Right. That was the other thing too. All right. So the worst car I would probably say that I've owned was probably my F100, just from a practical standpoint. And the best part about it was everything.
Yes.
So it was a huge shit box, and I loved every second of it, and I miss it sometimes. All right. We still have a lot of questions.
what was that? Was that your glass?
That was my empty wine bottle,
Oh,
which
man. I'm just
it was
glad
already. I started it from here, so not
Sure.
everybody watching.
But I'm glad you didn't break the Golden Girls glass.
No.
That would have been painful.
There's 3 more because there's 3 other Golden Girls. I'm going to ask this question as I go to the fridge, so you answer first. I'm going to get something.
Sure.
Big Sasha 415 asks, best daily driver for enthusiasts for under $45,000.
Under 45K, I mean, my tendencies are domestic, so whatever manual Camaro, V8 powered Camaro or Mustang you can buy.
That's a good answer. Yeah, that's a fair answer.
I mean,
for an
you
enthusiast.
could probably get whatever the 4-cylinder Camaro 1LE is, so that would probably be the best bet. I don't know.
I honestly have no clue.
How optioned a Mustang GT with the 5-liter you can get for $45K.
I was going to say, how much is the
crap ass brakes and no options?
So I just Googled. I'm like, what's a Mach 1 Mustang? It's 55.
Yeah. I would have said Mach 1, but I knew it was more than that.
Yeah. What's a Bullet? That's probably like 48, 50.
I don't know if they still sell the Bullet. I feel like the Bullet was like 1 or 2 year, and then they moved to the Mach 1.
Yeah. This Mach 1's pretty good. All right. That was a really good answer, though. J. Sham 91. If Americans call Utes trucks, what do they call trucks? Serious question, not shit stirring. Because our trucks, though, are different than your trucks. Your trucks are like truck cars. And you have trucks, too, but you also call, like, car trucks. So they're like...
Yo, man, what are you saying? I mean, I've had a couple drinks, but...
So this is obviously a question from an Australian.
Yes. A Ute is like an El Camino, though. It's like a car-based...
I think they call, like, Ford Rangers and shit Utes, too.
I don't know.
So they're car trucks.
I mean, my understanding of a Ute is a not necessarily body on frame, but a unibody, like car-based truck. It's a car with a bed.
See, I think for them, I don't think it's a car with a bed. I think also their trucks are Utes too.
Okay, then what is a truck? Like that's the most important. Like
for them, it's a Ute.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying trucks and Utes are the same thing to them?
For them, yes.
Well, then I don't know how to
answer
us,
this question. Obviously not. To us, we have trucks.
This is all you.
We have real trucks and we have car trucks. So a car truck, like an El Camino or a Ranchero, which we don't even have those here anymore.
Right. We have Santa Fe's and Rangers.
Santa Cruz.
Right.
Santa Cruz and the Maverick, but those are still more like trucks.
I fucked that all up. All right.
Those are still like trucks, though. So because our trucks are.
You're
I
saying
don't
a
think
Santa Cruz and Maverick are trucks?
They can be used as trucks, so I'm calling them trucks. They look like trucks to me. I'm calling them trucks. I'm not fucking with
can
the
be
whole...
used as a truck. To some
you can
capacity.
push it in the back. It's a truck. Mate, it's a Ute, mate.
Dude,
it's
this
a
question
Ute.
is going to break this podcast.
Maybe we should call them Utes.
Yeah. I think that's
Maybe
the easy work around here is
91.
we revert to unibody vehicles with a bed as Utes. Stop.
You know what?
Trying to make them trucks.
I can be down with that. I can be down with Ute. I like that. All right, fine. Fuck it. We're calling them Utes from now on. And then he asks a second question.
But it doesn't answer his question, though.
No, it doesn't.
Because I still don't know what
he also asks,
considers a truck.
are wagons trucks too? Would you in the U.S. call a Pajero a cruiser or a truck? Because they some of their SUV stuff they call wagons.
Oh, my God.
I know. They're like backwards USA down there.
Can we get this guy on the next podcast to give us a definitive, like...
I've actually had some people reach
understanding?
out to ask to be on the podcast, which is great. And one of them is a non-pro builder, and he wants to do a whole thing about other non-pro builders. I was like, that's a great topic. And he actually has like one of the coolest Mercedes on Instagram with like, it's all big fucking engine coming out of the hood and dope. So we'll talk
right
to
at
him.
my alley.
But exactly. So sorry, Jay Sham, we are not solving your questions here.
We're not equipped to answer this.
The Pajero, I call my Montero a truck, personally.
It's body on frame.
Yeah.
I would consider any SUV or bed and cab equipped vehicle that's body on frame a truck.
So, because I do this, and I know some people don't like to do this, but I call real SUVs. I just constantly just like, the truck,
that is a truck. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if we were
body
like
on frame, it's a truck.
if you drove us to lunch in your Tahoe, and I was like, all right, cool, we're ready to go. All right, let's hop in the truck.
It's a truck.
You know? Okay, cool. I do the same thing.
Like, I mean, yes, it's an SUV. It's like one of the first SUVs.
Right.
But I call it a truck, always.
Right. It's almost, you know what, it's funny because it's almost like if we had a Porsche 911 outside, I would say, like, let's get in the car. I wouldn't say, like, let's get into the sports car. You know, like, so, same idea.
Let's get into the coupe.
Right. Let's get into the track-focused German sports car. Lynn Woodward asked,
Hey.
what products do you use in your thick and luxurious hair? Which we've been asked before.
Lynn, I think you might be obsessed with Jeff's hair.
I didn't
Not your
answer it
first
before,
comment.
but I will answer it tonight. I use tea tree shampoo that has tea tree in it. I do not wash every day. You do not shampoo every day. And then for
I guess
like
that's where I went wrong. I shampoo every day. That's what I'm left with.
and then it'd be funny if I could show you a picture of my dad and my brother. Everybody would be like, how? How do you?
Are they both bald?
How? Yeah, oh yeah. And my brother's younger than me. With the magic, I can't find a picture of my brother, or my dad, but I wonder if I can find a picture of my brother real quick to shame his baldness on my podcast, which isn't viewed by many, but it's fine. Our podcast, excuse me. He's way bigger
I
than
really
me.
wonder, like, I remember in 5th grade, I don't know what the fuck he taught, like, now that I think about it, but I had a teacher who basically outlined and instilled in all of us that your baldness is a result of your mother's father. Like,
No, I've heard that.
your mother's
I've heard
father is the example of what your hair loss will look like.
Right.
I don't know if there's
I
any
keep finding
rhyme or reason
good
to that.
pictures with my brother, but it's also him with his, like, baby daughter, and I don't want to put her
Yeah.
on here. But is this a picture with him and, like, Dana White? No, Matt Sarah. Sorry. Oh, this is perfect. It's my dad and my brother. All right, hold on. I've got one. I can't believe I'm doing this on the podcast. This is fucking great. They would both be so fucking pissed at me. But I don't think they listen, so fuck them. That's my dad on the left, and that's my brother, and they are both bald as fuck.
Yeah, they're bald, but they're handsome, sexy, bald men. Like, you know,
Sure, if you say
everybody
yep.
can't pull it off. You know, a lot of people look like in a weird
love that.
transitory period throughout
This
their
is my favorite
their
moment in the
baldness.
podcast that we just got to do that. I'll be talking to my brother on the phone sometimes because he likes to FaceTime, and I'll just be doing this.
Cocksucker. Son of a
And
bitch.
it's going to bite me in the ass someday. And then for pomade, I used to use some gold shit. And then I found something on Amazon because I was out. It's called, like, Bird, B-Y-R-D. And I like matte finish. I don't like it to be shiny. And, you know, that's it. It's simple. Just run it through and fucking boom. And you're ready to go. There you go.
It's
enough of
working.
the hair stuff.
It's working.
Taylor356, you and Ron. Best color wheels for a white Audi Q7.
Gold.
Oh,
Ooh, a Q7. A Q7. I would like people to be a little bit more adventurous with. Sorry, but that's a boring ass car. Like the first gen Q7 was. I don't know. I feel like that was like the pinnacle of SUV design. Like, I think the first gen Q7 was super sexy and just like. It was better looking than the Cayenne, than its Touareg sibling. Like, it was just sex on wheels as an SUV. The current generation is boring as fuck, in my opinion. If I had a white Q7, I would do like a matte navy blue wheel.
wow. All right. Damn, I like it.
It's like
What I was going to say,
but it's classy. It's not offensive. Like, it's just, I don't know, tasteful but risky at the same time.
I think you'll agree with me. So, I like black wheels, but black wheels get lost really easily.
Black wheels on a white car is the worst, like the
Right.
most impossible thing to photograph. And I don't like black wheels in general just because of that fact. Like, all black wheels look the same. Like, you could have a Steely, you could have a sick-ass three-piece wheel, and to 99% of the people that see it, it's the same wheel. It's just like, it's a void.
I liked your idea initially, like immediately saying gold. Like, that was like, yeah, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think of that. That'd be kind of cool. And then I was also thinking like a steel gray, but I don't know, maybe that wouldn't work well. But
no,
that's like a more conservative answer with still a little bit of style than the blue. Because all right, there you go.
Blue is not for everybody. Gold is not for everybody. But like, you know, I always tend to be more adventurous when it comes to wheel styling, finishes, etc. I mean, it's my business. It's my calling card. Like, my shit has to stand out. Like, you'll never see me. God damn it! You're actually about to see me with an all black wheel. But that's temporary. Like, on my Audi, like I ordered a new set of 21-inch rotiforms they're two-tone black. They're two-tone matte black, gloss black. And I think they'll look hot, but it's definitely not my look. I definitely want to refinish them after we get through the new product release photo shoot and stuff. But all black wheels are just not my thing. Like I said, it's just a void. No matter how intricate and how cool the design is, like, it just does not translate in the real world.
Sure. All right. CNC Picks, our friend Leo. Thoughts on hybrid and EV Corvettes? Where do they fit in the lineup with the Z06, do you think? I would have to imagine that they will sit above.
Performance-wise, an all-wheel drive hybrid Corvette, like, can't lose. Like, you know.
Every automaker is going to want to position any enhanced or electric version of its already flagshipy type thing near the top because they want to say, like, look at us, we're doing it. Sure. And I am here for the tears of the purists.
Yeah, totally.
I am here for it.
I am as well. Like, you know, I love Corvettes. I love V8 powered automobiles. Like, I unabashed, admiration for that. But performance wise, if you want to compete, like, Ferrari has the SF90, like, the NSX, like, these cars, like, just perform clearly superior to anything that Corvette offers right now. And
yes,
it's a necessary step in the advancement of performance and being relevant in that supercar world.
Yeah, totally agree. I really like the passive aggressiveness of this next question. KB3740, haven't listened to the podcast in a while because you stopped, not me. Whatever happened to the Mercedes wagon? I will, and this, I know I say this a lot, but it's much more real this time. I will have something to tell you all very soon.
All right.
And I don't want to go deeper than that because if I do, then things will change and it'll fall apart. But
sure.
Let me just say, the hood on it was open recently, and we were looking at things, so it's still there. Taco_billionaire, which is, I love that.
I do too.
I see it all the time. I love it.
Yep.
Looking for an upholstery spot near Long Beach to refresh my 4Runner a bit if you have any recs. I don't.
I do, but because I have a project that's currently at that upholstery shop, I'm not going to say it on air. Message me, and I will share with you once my project is underway and nearing completion.
Interesting, because there's a spot that Mike from Stanceworks recommended on his Instagram.
I saw that today, yeah.
And I was thinking about reaching out to them to do some updates to the interior of my Montero, because I want to. I'd like to rewrap the seats and maybe do some other things. So if your Long Beach person is good, though, let me know. We can talk about that later.
My guy's not in Long Beach, but I'm in Long Beach, and it's not totally inconvenient. But, yeah, I mean, I don't want to share because, honestly, like, Vin, my friend / garage mate, like, he...
coworker.
He's also a coworker, yeah. He interjected a project with the same upholstery shop and kind of pushed my project back.
What a dick.
It was a real quick deal for him, and like the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it in."
Did he pull the Hoonigan card?
Totally. Like, he's got 150,000+ followers versus my, 11 or 12,000 or whatever the hell it is. And, this guy is, he plays the clout game. And he's really good.
To you?
But I need this project because it's not my own personal car. I need this project to move forward before
the German thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
DM me and I will let you know. But I will also make sure that you don't usurp me and sneak in there before my shit gets
Taco
done.
Billionaire. We love your account name.
Yes, 100%. One of my favorite account names.
Do not usurp. Danger SM3, which state's outline would make the best normal-sized racetrack? Which is a fantastic question.
Wow.
It's a fantastic question. It's funny because if it was like F1 and it was Tilke, it would be Vermont or some dumb shit like that.
Right.
You're pulling up a map, aren't you? You fucking cheater. I'm trying to do it from memory.
Well, share the map. Pull up a United States map.
If it was F0, I would say Hawaii, but we're not doing that. Okay, I'll pull up a map. And I'll share it on the screen.
Yeah.
So let's see. We'll do this map. I fucking love that we can do this.
I think it's going to be something in the Midwest that's has a weird boundary that's identified by informed by a lake or a river or something like that. So that there's at least some curvature because you get out west and it's just platitudes. Just Michigan 100%.
Michigan is good. New York's not bad though, dude.
No, it's not.
The state of New York is not bad at all.
I'm sticking with Michigan, but New York is also really good.
Yeah. I think I'm going with... I'm just taking a cursory glance because I think West Virginia could bring some heat, but... yeah, all right, you're going Michigan, and I'm going with New Hampshire, and I think somehow...
New Hampshire? I can't...
No, New York. No. Sorry, did I say New Hampshire? I meant New York.
New Hampshire. It's like, what? Where'd that come from?
Not New Hampshire. Not New Hampshire, kid. Keep your ducks. Telkins Jr., how much money could Honda make with an outdoor activities-inspired Element EV? All of it? I think we will have to wait and see what Volkswagen does with the Buzz, to be totally honest.
Sure.
And if anybody was smart about it, Ford would jump on their fucking e-Transit and make a van life version, and they should actually already have it, which I'm surprised they don't. But an Element EV would be cool.
I love the mention or just idea of an Element. Have we talked about? I can't remember. Did we talk about how I named the Element?
Excuse me?
I named the Element. For sure, we talked about this, right?
No.
Never?
No.
I named the Honda Element.
How so?
I was part of a... I swore we talked about this.
No, I've definitely never heard the story.
God. So when I was in school at USC, Honda reps came to so we had fraternity and sorority dinners on Monday nights, right? And that was just when you'd go, if you were in a fraternity, Monday night dinners, you'd go and present to a sorority and try and trick them into having a party with you in exchange, we called them, right? But there were also all sorts of presentations from different groups on campus or off campus that were just hey, we're looking for people to take part in this, and they were always recruiting for different things. So one day they came in and it was a market research study for Honda, and they were building this new SUV. They were working on this new SUV concept that was geared towards people with active lifestyles, and it was surfers, snowboarders, skiers, hikers. It was what the Element ended up becoming. They called it Project X. That was how they showed it at car shows and shit. The concept was called Project X, but 6 or 7 times over the course of 2 years, I went down to Irvine. And the first couple of meetings were outside of the fucking Raging Waters or whatever the
which is long gone.
whatever the water park was there. And the first time we met, there was a styling buck and an interior buck. So it was just like, they were separate. Like, it was like you could sit in the thing, and like it had like a zip out overhead console that became a backpack.
Whoa.
It had rubber floors and washable interior and stuff. So over the course of 2 years, and like I said, 6 or 7 meetings, we met and like basically gave feedback to the designers, like, hey, here's what I would change, here's what I don't like, here's what's cool. And it was really interesting. Like, I think back, like the first exterior model had round headlights, and like we're just like, that's not like cool, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, it was they definitely took our input and applied it to the concept and ultimately to the production vehicle. But the last meeting was naming. And like, they're just like, you guys have been with us for like 2 years, like, what, like, we want your input on what to call this. Like, we've been calling it Project X. Obviously that's not a production name, so they broke us up in groups of 3, and we had to come back with 3 names. And I came back and I said Element. I was just like, this is a vehicle that is to be used in all of the elements, like, and I think you might get some pushback. You'll probably have to have some like copyright and trademark clearances from Element skateboards, but there's kind of a crossover there, and also like this just like works for the car. And I didn't get paid extra or anything for it. I think we got paid like $250 for every single visit, so it was lucrative for a college student. But Element was my name, and obviously they chose it.
What year was this?
It had to been like 2002, 2003, like just before the car was actually released.
All right.
I think they released the concept in like, I don't know if it was at Detroit or where, but like they released the concept in like 2002.
That's fucking amazing.
I swear we talked about this before.
I've never heard that story. I promise you.
Yeah, dude.
And I just edited this episode to be titled "Ron Names the Element." I've literally never heard that before.
Yeah. So I'd love to see an Element like reprise.
I want to bring you to people at Toyota and be like, "Yo, how'd you guys come up with the name Element?"
I got my guy here. But my favorite part of that experience, though, was that I was going through a transitory period in my school career at USC. Like, I had a professor that was just like, "Yo, you are not an architect. You don't want to be an architect. All of your projects, everything you do is informed by cars and like inspired by cars. Like, you need to go to Art Center. You need to create a portfolio and go to Art Center." And I was just like, bro, that's way too much fucking work. Like, I drew cars as a kid. Like, I don't have anything that's like impressive, like as far as transportation design. Like, that was the first time I'd heard of transportation design, right? So he basically made me quit architecture school and go to USC art school, but like he really wanted me to go to Art Center. Right. And I just felt intimidated, and like I wasn't prepared. Like, I really wasn't. And I talked to some of the designers, the Honda designers, while I was at these, research groups, these meetings, and I'm just like, I'm being encouraged to go into transportation design, to go to Art Center, and they're just like, fuck that, don't do that. Like, whatever you do, don't do that. Wow. Like, one guy was like, I feel like this was one of the most formative conversations in my career, in my like school career in history. Like, I was talking to one of the designers, and he was just like, dude, don't go work for an OE. Whatever you do, don't go into transportation design. Don't go work for an OE. I spent the last 6 months designing the interior of a mirror cover. Oh, yeah. And he was just like, it just sucks. Like, you get lucky. Every now and then you'll have a breakthrough and you'll be able to do something super fucking fun and cool. But, like, you never know when that is. And he was just like, 6 months on the inside of a mirror cover, something that nobody will ever see. And I was just like, don't want that. He was like, just go into the aftermarket. He was just like, it's basically the Wild West, and you can do whatever you want. And like, you're not confined to the same set of rules that we are. And I was just like,
It would be
so thankful for
fascinating.
that advice, and
It would
that's
be.
why
I wish we knew who that guy was. That person was.
I have
so we
a
could.
friend that still works at Honda, and I told him that story, and I was just like, this guy had like longish hair, and I'm just like, I hope you can help me like figure out who that is. And he was just like, yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. I can't remember if he worked on the Element project himself, but he was just like, yeah, I don't know who exactly that is, but it was the best advice I got in my entire life, and it totally informed my career. I went home and I got on SEMA's website, and I just harassed anybody that was hiring in the aftermarket. And like, I ended up getting a job at a wheel company that was right down the street from USC where I was going to school. I could ride my bike there, and that pretty much, set my my career trajectory. But it was disappointing, but it was also.
And now you are the host of This Versus That. Who knew? You and the dude with the what is the brand the dude's trying to sell?
Booty Hustlers, Gary King.
Booty Hustlers.
My nephew. By the way, Gary, if you're listening, you haven't checked in on me in a while. Gary, we had an arrangement. We after filming whatever, like a month or so ago, Gary's supposed to check in on me because my biggest fear is falling in the shower and being left for dead because I live by myself and like I don't have anybody check in on me.
I'm going to start checking in on you, Mike.
Gary was supposed to check in on me every single day, and he's failed in that capacity.
I don't think Gary listens to this podcast. If you do, Gary, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
you're
plug
a funny
shit.
motherfucker.
We said your brand's name. Just go, motherfucker. Reciprocate.
He's not legally allowed to say mine. Jaked up car art, out of the Top Gear Grand Tour specials, which one is your favorite? Do you have a favorite? I know which one's my favorite.
The Grand Tour specials.
Or Top Gear. Or Top Gear.
You go first.
Mine's the Top Gear.
I need a minute to think about that.
Mine is, it's been the same for years. Vietnam. The Vietnam special, which doesn't even really have to do about cars. I didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other of the country of Vietnam. And then I watched these three idiots, and I say that with love and respect. These three idiots ride these dumb motorcycles through Vietnam, and it's the most beautiful fucking country. And when they make it to the water, it opened my eyes to so much, and I want to go to Vietnam so bad because of the Top Gear special. That one, the Africa one, is really high on the list too, because I think that Africa was Oliver, right? And they also were the first people to cross that one section of the desert, so that one's insane. I'd probably put Vietnam 1 and then the Africa one as 2.
I'm going to say Argentina because I don't totally remember
probably 3.
That's
Number 3 for me. So yeah,
Argentina because of the controversy. Do you remember they had a plate on one of the cars? That's probably Clarkson's
where they
cars
referenced
that
the
was
Falklands War,
referencing like some war, some occupation, and it pissed the whole fucking country off. And it was like something that was supposed to be so subliminal and like under the radar, but it was just like they got run out of the country. They were.
That reminds me that another favorite moment is the U.S. one. When they went to the South.
They had
something like about man love was on one of the cars, and like a convoy of Southerners ran their ass.
They totally poked the bear with that episode. They came in fucking guns blazing, just fucking trying to piss people off, and like I admire that level of just not giving a fuck and just like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna see what happens. Like,
I love it.
All of that got past producers, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if my friend who once worked with them, if he was involved in that, but I just love the. I don't love the
Mr. Porter
colonialism of the British, but I love their humor and the fact that they really just don't give a fuck when it comes to humor. They'll go anywhere.
as they would say, they like to take the piss out of things.
Exactly.
And there's certain areas of the world that don't like the piss being removeth.
Sure.
And the American South is one of them.
Yeah.
And I thought it was amazing. I thought it was
Yeah.
fucking hysterical.
They got run out of Argentina. Like they had to shut down.
It was bad. They had to leave shit. They had to leave shit and go. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Because the Falklands War still burned hot for a lot of people there. That one was almost more serious, though, than what they did in the South. They just wrote dumb shit on cars. Didn't they write NASCAR sucks on one of the cars? Fucking A. I want to write that on a car and drive to the South. And then the last question is from Real Cool Phillips, who is my friend since 7th grade and my college roommate. Have you ever cooked an egg on a car engine? I have not, but when I did the Land Rover Trek competition, they hid breakfast sandwiches wrapped in foil in the engine bays of our Land Rovers, and you had to figure out how to get them. Sounds easy, but most people have never dealt with these. These Land Rovers were equipped with what are called limb risers. Do you know what limb risers are?
I have no idea.
So from the hood to the top of the roof rack, there are wires on either side.
Oh, okay.
Run to block tree limbs from hitting the ground.
Trees out of the way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're high tension, not high tension, but they're under tension. So exactly. So you had to remove those first. You had to know how to unhook those to open the hood and get your delicious little breakfast sandwiches. Land Rover promised breakfast burritos. They were this big. They were very tasty, but they were not burritos. Small quibble. My team and I still talk about it. I've never cooked an egg on a car. I've eaten food cooked under the hood of a car. So there you go.
That's I don't know. I don't even know. I guess it's ironic, but the first thing that came to mind for me, I've never done that either. I've joked about it in college, and we've definitely done dumb shit with cars and food, mainly putting mayonnaise on our tires to aid in low power burnouts and donuts. But the first thing that came to mind was my favorite car in the entire history of the world is Cadzilla, which was built by Boyd Coddington for Billy Gibbons. It's a 1948 or 49 Cadillac sedanette. I have the only die-cast model that I own is of that car, and it's over there in my kitchen. And it's at the Peterson. I think it's probably in the vault now, but it has been on display for years. And it's just the most, oh my God. I get goosebumps every time I see it. Like, that is just the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. But basically, when Boyd debuted that car, I think I don't know if it was Gray Baskerville or somebody at Hot Rod. They basically took this on what was like the precursor of Power Tour.
Okay.
So they debuted the car, or like showed it to the world for the first time on a cross-country road trip, and they cooked burritos in the engine bay. Like, they're just like, the engine is so clean you can eat off of it, right? So they did that. They put burritos and like reheated them or cooked them like on the engine. And I read that article in Hot Rod magazine when I was 10 or 11 years old, because that car was built and finished in 90 or 91. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like, that, I think they actually took pictures of that and showed it in that magazine feature. And it's just something that's resonated with me for 30 plus years now.
That's amazing. Who Boyd built that?
Boyd built it.
Because I don't love Boyd's aesthetic. It's very
you can just stop right now.
His wheels. Come on.
I dare you. I dare you.
You
don't want to start this debate.
I am. Maybe actually we should save this for another podcast.
Yeah,
We are already
for sure.
long.
For sure, yeah. We're almost 2 hours right now.
And I will never disparage any of ZZ Top's hot rod choices or James Hetfield's hot rod choices from Metallica. That dude has
we should definitely save
car.
this. We should save this whole discussion for another podcast. It's going to be a whole podcast, because I got some shit to say about not Hetfield's collection, but his builder. So,
Okay, I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not scared.
I don't like boys with wheels, and so who would you like
We're done. We're done here.
all right, so Boomer Ba, what do you got coming up?
What do I have coming up? I don't even know, man. Oh, dude, I'm excited about this for sure. I'm going to see Dave Chappelle at the Hollywood Bowl on Saturday.
Damn.
And I'm going home to Atlanta in a couple weeks. And
Are you getting any cool treatment at the Chappelle show?
Huh?
Are you getting any cool backstage treatment shit at the Chappelle show?
I don't know about backstage, but we've got my homie Norm. I got to shout out Norm. He's I don't know his title, but basically he is the man when it comes to logistics and on-site operations for the bowl. He also handles transportation for the Oscars, and he's hooked it up, and I'm super thankful for the access that we're going to have. And the coolest thing about going to a show at the Hollywood Bowl, especially with Norm's access, is valet parking.
Oof.
And it's incredibly underrated, just because people don't know, because it's really hard to get. So basically, with valet parking, you drive all the way up the hill, right to the very top of the hill, just behind the bowl, and you unload there, and it's you have a VIP entrance, and you get escorted straight to your seats, which is typically a VIP box. So I'm super excited about that, because I didn't even ask for it, and I was willing to pay for tickets, and he just hit me up a couple days ago and just yo.
FYI, next time you get this offer, I'm also willing to pay for tickets.
Okay. Yeah, but this is the kind of thing that you can't pay for. You and I couldn't pay for. The people that we typically are sitting next to are they're the guys that have their own bottled tequila.
You didn't pay for the tickets?
I haven't paid for the tickets. I'm hoping that I don't have to pay for the tickets, because
got
I
it.
would have to take up. Yeah.
Let me know in the future if these opportunities arise, though, and
certainly. But it's always
if you have a dollar number where you're like, "Hey, Jeff, it's $300." I'm like,
yeah, but it's not it's not like that. It's just hey, can you come? Can you make it? Yes.
Okay.
All right. Then you're set.
And then if he says do you have any friends that want to go? and then you exhaust your Long Beach and local list, I will drive up from South
Bro,
Beach.
I got you. But I totally wasn't expecting this. I didn't ask for it, and it was just it's always that way. It's always a last minute thing. Hey, say yes now, or this opportunity goes to someone else.
Because I almost invited you to something I'm excited about that I'm going to, but I didn't. So I don't want to sound like a dick, but
you're not going to say it?
No, I am. Not this weekend, but next weekend I'm going to a Pearl Jam concert that I bought tickets for 3 years ago.
No shit.
Right when 2 years ago when COVID hit, that they rescheduled to the day before Mother's Day. You motherfuckers.
What venue?
The Forum.
Oh,
it's not the bowl. Well, and I have general admission floor seats, which I've never had for Pearl Jam, and people are reselling online, which I can't do because I bought them through the Pearl Jam Club thing. They're like, you can't resell these. You can exchange them for the face value. I saw someone trying to sell these for $2,000 a pop, and I was like, I would consider reselling them for that amount.
Totally.
I'm taking my buddy Derek Gibbs.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, I wasn't going to ask, but yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if Ron would want to go to Pearl Jam, or if he would fucking hate it.
I don't think I would hate it.
You wouldn't hate it.
I'm into all sorts of live musical experiences.
I think you would like it better though.
Bruce Springsteen and loved it. I don't give a fuck about Bruce Springsteen, but I saw him at the Honda Center or something like that, and I was just like, I get it. This was 10, 15 years ago, but I'm down for whatever.
If I had seats, I think you would enjoy it more than general admission floor.
Whatever, I don't care about that.
Okay.
When it comes to concert experiences, I'm down for whatever the authentic experience is. It's just whether you're in the rafters, whether you're front row. I don't like lines. I don't like to stand around in line to get in. That's something I'm averse to. But if I could avoid that, I'm down for whatever the experience is.
I'm with you there. We're gonna meet up with Farrah beforehand and pregame a little bit.
I assumed it. that he would be there for sure.
I don't know where he's sitting. He probably has seats. Corey Burns, who's a PR media friend, is going to be there.
Sick.
But
Where's the homie?
logistically, this concert sucks for me. Because, like, I have to get to the Forum and back, and then the next day is Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd be like, yo, Matt, I want to just sleep over at your house.
Right.
He'd probably be like, yeah, that's cool. We have plenty of space. And I'm inviting him without even, but it's Mother's Day, so I have to get home. And then, like, Derek lives in Fullerton. So I'm just figuring out I'm still figuring out yeah, dude, it sucks. Because I'm actually thinking about, I don't want to do this, but I don't know if it would be that much. If I was like, how much is it to rent a car? Or not rent a car, like, hire a car.
Get a car service, yeah.
Yeah, it can't be that
Well,
much, right?
My homie Norm, who's hooking up the Hollywood Bowl, actually has a car service or has connections to a car service. So I will put you two in touch so you can see if that makes sense.
Yeah, put me in touch, and if the numbers, bingo bango, if the numbers,
Totally.
we'll talk about that offline. I'm going to stop recording right now. Everybody knows where to find us by now. This episode is one of the longest we've done in a while, but it was flowing. The juice was feeling good. I took a break from drinking because I've been doing it for vacation for 2 weeks, and I re-upped for tonight, so I feel good, which helped it all flow. I don't blame you. We'll see you all next week.